Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
Matronly air about her, but it's much more like refined and mature, but she's still got that kind of fire within her.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. My name is Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 106. Today, we are doing our Imperial inspection, Princess Leia. As always, we have with us today, Heather Allred.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for stopping by. And, of course, Todd Hoffman.
Hello there.
You can check us out on social media, WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. Email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes over at podcast.wstrmedia.com. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss our next live episode. Find us at youtube.com and search for WSTR Media. Hey, one quick note. The next few weeks, we're having a little bit of a schedule rearrangement when it comes to our live streams. Normally, we do them Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, but we are moving that to Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Party on a Saturday, man. Party on a Saturday.
Yep. It's Saturday night, and the place is hopping. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. That's over 425,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. I know some of you across the country, you're snowed in. You are hunkered down until Tuesday, not given that we have the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. But how are you going to pass the time when you're hunkered down in the base on Hoth waiting for everything to blow over?
Tell us, Aaron. Tell us.
Go on over to audibletrial.com/WSTR. Sign up for a free trial. We get paid. You get a free book. You get to keep it for life. And if you're not happy, you get to cancel and still keep the book. Everybody wins. You win. I win. They win. We win.
Winning.
So,
Winning.
Once again, to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/WSTR. That's audibletrial.com/WSTR. This podcast is also brought to you by our merch store over at Teespring, which you can find at store.wstrmedia.com. We've got everything you need to survive this winter. We've got mugs for hot chocolate or coffee or tea or what have you. Cold water, I don't care. We got socks, we got leggings, we got t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies. Anything else am I missing?
All I know is I could use a hoodie right now.
Yeah.
We might be adding more merchandise in the near future. So, think about Valentine's Day, your special someone. You got to keep them warm. You got to match because it's the cringy couple thing to do.
That's totally the cringy couple thing to do.
So, if you're interested in supporting your local, homegrown, free-range podcast, head on over to store.wstrmedia.com. Buy 2 of everything so you and your beloved can match.
Yeah.
Yes. And send us a picture. We'll tweet it out. Why not? All right, Heather.
Yes.
Tease the news of the week because some people don't want to be spoiled.
What? Here is your news of the week teaser, friends. We're on. We're off, but yet we're back on.
Ooh.
Makes sense.
Ooh.
Makes sense.
Sounds like a dramatic relationship.
Right? Piggies. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you so far.
Hands.
You lost me.
I know. Not Han. The way that...
But hands.
Hands. Just want to clarify. And then one more.
One more.
Yes. Lawyers.
The true path to the dark side.
I'm just saying.
For sure.
All right, stay tuned. We'll figure out what all of that means. But first, Todd, what do we have here?
Absolutely. We are looking at Twitter trash compactor.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there, don't worry about it!
All right, so every week we are running polls. So the first one, we actually had 2 polls this week. So the first one was, this week we are revisiting Revenge of the Sith. What was your favorite fight scene in ROTS, which is what the cool kids say for Revenge of the Sith? Okay, so we had Obi and Anakin versus Count Dooku, Obi-Wan versus Grievous, Yoda versus Emperor, and then Obi-Wan versus Anakin. So, Aaron, let me ask you, my friend, which one would you have chosen for this week's poll?
Let's see. Obi and Anakin versus Dooku. That's a nice appetizer, but you know, it's over pretty quick, and you know, it's kind of obvious who's going to win that.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan versus Grievous, a nice choice. You know, they cover a lot of ground. They have the whole "hello there" meme, but
you thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous,
right.
But it's fun to watch, and that's what matters. Yoda versus the Emperor, equally as ridiculous. But at least we have the conceit that Yoda's like the supreme force master, and so he holds his own with the Emperor and lives to tell the tale. So that's something. But we have Obi-Wan versus Anakin, and I got to say that is probably the most anime, the most melodramatic fight ever, and it goes on a bit too long, but you think Revenge of the Sith, and that's what you think of. So I'm gonna have to go with that.
Okay, very good. Heather, which one would you choose?
I know what you're all thinking. You're all thinking I would have picked the Yoda one.
I was thinking the same thing,
but I didn't.
Oh
no.
Okay.
So I did pick the Obi-Wan Anakin because Aaron said it as beautifully as you can. When you think Revenge of the Sith, this is what you think of.
It is, yeah.
It's the turning point of Anakin truly no longer being a man, but becoming machine, and taking on the Darth Vader role. So it's pivotal, but Yoda is a very close second.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I voted to Obi-Wan versus Anakin because, again, it's what Revenge of the Sith is about, and you know the Brotherhood falling apart, and it is a very pivotal moment in Star Wars lore. So, yeah, and they filmed real volcanoes. I mean, come on,
there you go.
Yeah, well, it's funny because
stock footage.
Yeah, they got the stock footage, but the rest of Mustafar is like a miniature set. So it's fantastic. You got like real lava. And then you got a mini set, so there you go. Our next poll, this is a hot take. We're arguing about this in Katina chat. Who plays the better Spider-Man? Okay. So Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, and then Jake Johnson. Jake Johnson is one of the voice actors in Spider-Verse. So he plays a pretty mean Peter Parker Spider-Man. So those are your 4 choices. We already know what Heather chose. Tom Holland. What would you are you still on Toby camp there, Mr. Aaron?
Man, he's my first love when it comes to Spider-Man. Not gonna lie, that carries a lot of weight, but Andrew Garfield, he's out of the race. Jake Johnson, I haven't seen it, so he's out of the race.
Right.
But I gotta say, if you're going with the kind of like nerdy teen, but with a heart of gold, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire makes the better Spider-Man.
Okay.
Tom Holland makes the better Peter Parker.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying Tobey Maguire, better Spider-Man, Tom Holland, better Peter Parker. Okay.
Yes.
I can deal with that.
So I'm kind of breaking the Twitter poll, but yeah.
you're making like a sub A, part B.
Secret option E. Yeah.
There you go.
You just can't pick one, Aaron, can't you? It's just like, no.
No, I got to make things complicated.
But you defended it well, so I feel like we're going to let that pass.
Well,
all right.
So you would vote, based on the question, Aaron, you would vote Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I'd vote Toby. I'm just explaining Tom Holland has found his way into my heart, but not as Spider-Man.
No,
as
Peter Parker.
I'm not dismissing him. So
Right,
are you happy now, Heather?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Wow.
All right.
That was a long-winded answer. So anyways, right now that poll is, like, as of recording, that poll is still open, but Tom Holland's leading. And then I forgot to say that Obi versus Anakin at 1, too. So no love for Obi and Anakin versus Dooku. They're like, no.
Yeah.
No. So shall we move on to our main topic?
And now for our feature presentation.
All right. So today we are going to talk about, again, when we're live streaming, I got buns on, man. So we're talking about the only girl that could wear the buns, and that is Princess Leia. So
True story.
Yeah, true story. So we all know the beloved Carrie Fisher basically really changed pop culture history here. So I'm going to start with this question, Heather. Why is Princess Leia important to Star Wars and pop culture?
Well, let's just start with the heavy-hitting question, shall we, folks?
Yes, that's what we do here.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's something where if you were part of the original trilogy, at the movies, for the particular age bracket, this could be your first female crush, that she came out on the screen and was this beautiful woman who had a little bit of sass, kind of kept her composure under pressure, but really carried herself really well. That's at least what I saw, as I watched it. Mm-hmm. And so I think what she's done for the Star Wars side of the saga is she said, hey, you can, as we've learned the bigger scope of who she is, be, separated from a brother, be adopted into a family, grow up, and then know what's happening in the world to an extent, and then be face to face with it and find herself with these guys out of nowhere and a big giant furry, Wookiee.
Walking carpet. And
hold her own and take care of business and do what needs to be done. And through her smarts and her, feminine wiles, work her way up the political ranking and really have a strong voice and be respected. And I think seeing Princess Leia in pulp culture, some of your initial thoughts are gold bikini. But it's so much more than that, because it was one moment in time where she was captured and this is where she was, but then she still took ownership of her life in that moment to take out Jabba. So that's another, great part of a female kind of stepping up and fighting for her own. Okay. And then just the small bits of like C2E2 I've been to. I've only been twice. Just flung my headset, guys. I've only been twice. I'm so dramatic.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Show must go on.
And, I've been to a few Star Wars celebrations, and to see that the Leia that is portrayed and represented is either original white dress buns or a later on, general. And you're like, yeah, she's killing it. And so it's fun just to see her go from this young, innocent, captured girl to sort of like leading the Force.
Space quotes.
You know, play on words, people. Try to be funny. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
I get you.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I feel like she's just important.
Yeah.
Strong female representation.
Okay. Aaron, same question.
Well, why is she important to Star Wars and pop culture? Well, she's kind of a foil to Luke in the beginning, where he's a bit clueless. Let's put it that way.
He's a goober.
You know, we
already established that.
Yeah, he's this goober. He's this farm boy goober that gets caught up in this adventure, and he doesn't know what he's doing. But Princess Leia, not only do we see her right at the beginning that she is fearless. You know, she's not afraid of Lord Vader, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to ensure victory. You know, put the plans to the Death Star in R2. Yeah, she's capable of taking care of herself. And she's a hero in her own right. Like, you know, she's not a damsel in distress. She don't need no man. But as circumstance would have it, she does need to be rescued. And so in some way she functions as kind of and I'm speaking symbolically here, kind of like a reward for Luke or something to chase after. Yeah. But she's not what he really needs or what he really wants. And so she's kind of there to like keep the story going. But she's fantastic in her own right and has kind of served as a model for the female hero for the future. And then things get more complicated in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where initially what she wants is just, you know, victory for the rebellion and the defeat of the Empire. But we don't really know why, aside from, you know, blowing up her home planet. That kind of sucks. But, you know, we see this kind of relationship develop between her and Han, and it just feels natural. It feels right. But I'm not even going to touch the thing with Luke. But
we'll get into her story arc soon enough. But
well, it just injects this sense of romance that is really kind of critical to the whole adventure fantasy genre, where it's just something very real and visceral that's worth fighting for. And but like I said, it's not a damsel in distress. It's she's someone who's independent and equally capable of rising to meet the challenge of evil and take it head on. And that's a challenge to any male hero to kind of keep pace with her.
Right.
So
yeah.
In that regard, she's tremendous.
Okay. There you go. I would just add the little bit of, from a pop culture perspective, is just she's the rebel, you know, and you see a lot of posters and pop art where, you know, she's the rebel princess. And I think Carrie Fisher, like you said, Aaron, is that she don't need no man. She's independent and focused. And I think that really, from a pop culture perspective, really latches on, and she's a strong woman lead where she's taking control of those two goobers and A New Hope, and it's kind of a refreshing approach. And you don't really see that in a sci-fi kind of adventure where it is more of a damsel in distress, and you know, you get to see her be more of a leader, and she already knows her path, but the two guys, Han and Luke, are still kind of trying to figure that out. But Leia is already set on what she needs to do and what she's fighting for. And I think it's interesting that it takes time for the two guys to kind of figure that out along the way. So, but yeah, we're going to get on her arc into her story arc in just a minute. But okay, Heather, let's start with you. What impact do you think Princess Leia had on young girls growing up? The 80s generation, I would say.
Yeah, I fear I kind of may have touched on that a little bit in my first answer. I'm an overachiever that way, guys.
You're answering like all 4 questions right away, you know.
Kind of.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
But that's sort of, I don't know. I guess how I just see her. I see her and her whole story, and I don't know if because of Carrie Fisher's passing, that's how I sort of see the whole character now. Like I see it front to end as someone who portrayed that character. Yeah. So I'll try and rein it in a little bit here, but I mean, I think I guess I just have to go back to seeing a strong female in adversity has to speak to young girls that may have been living a sheltered life, but still have kind of the smarts to not be afraid. You know, Darth Vader, he's a scary dude, you know, to kind of go toe to toe with him and, you know, hold her own kind of a thing. You would hope that shows young girls that you can go up against the big scary bully or whoever, and you don't have to give in.
But it's funny you say that, but you also realize like Tarkin is even more scarier to her at the end there, and he doesn't have a mask, you know.
Exactly. And so it's almost like you can see her being like, you have to hide behind a mask. Mm-hmm. I've seen worse. And if she, you know, having read the Leia book, you know, which of course is just an interpretation, you know, kind of a thing. But if she grew up in a home that was politically charged, I'm sure she saw the best and the worst of people. Yeah. And knew who held power and who had influence. And so to then first to meet her where we do and still have the composure to, as Aaron, you know, said, put the Death Star, you know, plans into R2 and reach out to Obi-Wan to be calm and collect. I would never be that way. I'd be like in tears, shutting down. Where's my mom? Kind of a thing. That shows great maturity.
You would be hugging R2 and be like, I don't know what to do.
Probably. So what do I think her impact was? I mean, again, I guess it all depends on what age you come into the stories. But I would just hope they see a girl who keeps her calm, stands up to adversity, holds herself with this great composure and sort of dignity, but then not afraid to throw in, you know, a nerve herder when it's needed. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Someone's got to save our skins.
I mean, seriously. Which I'm sure we'll go through all of her amazing quotes later.
We are, yes, of course.
Yeah, so I think that's what I would think her impact would be on girls.
Okay. Aaron, anything to add?
I would just say, because Princess Leia is a hero character, it's telling the world that Star Wars is for everyone. You know, it's not just a boys' game. You know, she brings this kind of universality to it that we wouldn't otherwise get. So for that, I and so many other people are grateful.
Yeah, very good. Yes. And I think, obviously, just a side note, I think that's why Rey is pivotal now in the sequel trilogies. It's kind of the same thing, like a girl handling adversity, like you said, Heather. And I think that's why, obviously, Rey is speaking to young girls now, just as Leia spoke to young girls back in the 80s. So, all right. So this is kind of an open-ended question. I'll start with you, Aaron. Do you like her story arc in the original trilogy? You kind of touched on this already, but do you like how it progressed from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi?
Hard to say. She's definitely stronger in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. but as the series progresses, it just gets harder to tell what it is she wants. And I'm not saying that as some kind of sexist joke, but so she starts off with a very clear goal. She wants to aid the rebellion in taking down the Empire, and her motivation for that is whatever circumstances led her to smuggling the plans, and then the destruction of her home planet. And then we get into Empire Strikes Back, and she kind of carries that same momentum forward, but then this relationship with Han develops. Lando's taking me over. And so that becomes something that she kind of has to tangle with as well. But then with Return of the Jedi, it's like she wants to rescue Han, and then I guess help the rebellion. And I don't know. For me, it becomes muddied, and she serves more as an accessory to everybody else's goals, which is fine, I guess. Not everybody can be the lead of the story, but it would be more interesting, I think, if what she wanted clashed with what Luke wanted, or clashed with what other people wanted in a way where she kind of, has to be assertive and put herself forward and really want something meaningful, but also that sets her apart more and is a bit more unique than we have to save the rebellion, because that's Luke's goal too. Yeah. And to an extent that's Han's goal too.
Right. Yeah.
And so I don't know, does that kind of make sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Because again, like I said earlier, it's kind of like Luke and Han don't have the same goals in A New Hope, but they basically adopt what Leia's doing by the end of Return of the Jedi. So it's like they all collectively have similar paths and similar goals. And so I think her story gets a little muddier by Return of the Jedi. So Heather, same question.
Yeah, I'm not sure what additional things to add.
Sure.
I think you fall in love with her in A New Hope because of this drive and this mission that she's got going on. I think ultimately, to include a love story, to include a romantic element, it's going to have to get muddy. I think it makes sense, so I don't hate it necessarily. Sure. I was having a conversation just today where sometimes when you have books that go to film that don't encapsulate everything, are you upset with it? And the statement that was made was, are they being true to who the character was? And so that's sort of how I feel about her arc. Whether it gets muddy in her mission, are they staying true to who Leia is? And so maybe that's the question of whether we like the arc or not. I don't know. Yeah. Just a thought that I had as Aaron was talking. And so for me, I have no qualms about it. I don't know if I'm just being naive. I don't know any different. Right. I enjoyed A New Hope. I enjoyed seeing where her interactions with both Luke and Han was and what that looks like. This is potentially her first true mission on her own. So, she's the Nebraska girl that moved to the big bad city in New York to get stuff done. I mean, I don't know, something's going to get muddy. Yeah. So I think it's good. I think it holds true to who she is. And I don't know if that is being swayed by where I know she goes in the sequel trilogy. So maybe I'll eat my words. It's hard to say.
Yeah. we don't want to get too far ahead, right?
I know. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it gets to what we kind of talked about earlier. I feel like, she's a strong, independent woman. Empire wouldn't be the same without that relationship building between Han and her.
Right.
It's fantastic because they're both stubborn and yet they're attracted to each other in a weird way, which works. We, like Aaron said, we won't mention the brother-sister thing. I just feel like, for me, it's Return of the Jedi that I have a problem with. It just as far as like, she's a sex symbol for every young boy in Return of the Jedi. And she gets kind of lost, I think, in Return of the Jedi. I just feel like, there's not much there for her story in there. But I feel like also, I say that, but then she's more motherly in Return of the Jedi. When they get captured and the Ewoks get captured and, all that kind of stuff, she's motherly to Wicket, like, hey, you want a granola bar? Here you go. Yeah. She's motherly to when they arrive at Bright Tree Village and they're like, but these are my friends, like she's kind of like trying to nurture both the relationship of the Ewoks and her friends. And, she's softer and not as edgy, which is not a problem. She's definitely more of a mother, in Return of the Jedi and less that hardened princess. And, but I do, the one scene I really love in Return of the Jedi is when they're all checking out the shield generator and, they're about to go and Han's like, don't worry, it's me. And both Luke and Leia exchange that look to when Han leaves. And I just love that scene. It's like all three of them are gelling as far as acting, and it just works because it feels very natural. Like, okay, we know he's going to screw up somehow, I just love that scene. But I just feel like she just gets lost a little bit in Return of the Jedi. So.
You're
okay.
right. It's a very weird arc in Return of the Jedi when at the beginning it's like she's this sex symbol thing, and then just very quickly turns motherly, and it's like it's confusing. It's confusing, like seeing it as like, and again, I think it's just filters, like seeing it as an adult versus to when I saw it when it, 1983. It's obviously I'm in a different age, and I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to like. Taking a step back, I'm trying to figure that all out, and it gets weird, Okay, so seeing her back in the sequel trilogy has done what to you, Aaron? Oh boy! So
now that we went through original trilogy, let's talk sequel trilogy. And seeing her back has really what has that done for you as in her character, basically?
Well, she still kind of has that kind of matronly air about her, but it's much more like refined and mature, but she's still got that kind of fire within her of wanting to take charge and solve her own problems and everything. And I really enjoy it. We could talk about the whole latent force sensitivity and the Mary Poppins through space thing.
Yes.
But overall, it seems really true to who Princess Leia should be. General Leia, I should say. And if you wanted Princess Leia to be the leader of the rebellion, well into the First Order, then that's what it looks like, and I think they nailed it.
Okay, Heather, how about you?
Nice. I really like her in the sequel trilogies. I was actually just rewatching The Last Jedi this morning.
What? Oh, awesome.
Were you doing
I know.
research?
Maybe a little bit.
That's awesome. That's good.
And I just, what I was reminded of, and I don't know that I would have realized it until the sequel trilogy, is how much of a glue character she is. That Han relates to her, Kylo relates to her, Luke relates to her. You know,
Poe relates.
Poe relates to her.
Relates to her. Rey relates to her.
Rey relates to her, and Laura Dern.
Holdo.
Sorry, Holdo. That took a second. And so that's a fun added element of seeing her as this general that has the political, but then has the Rey connection and the Kylo for the motherly figure, has the sister connection, she's a fully rounded female. So I dig it. I have zero complaints about Princess Leia.
Okay. Yeah, I would add, I think she has a little Spitfire in her still, and that's good. You definitely feel she portrays how much weight she's carrying for the Resistance. I think it works very well. And you nailed it on the head, Heather. I mean, she's a glue character. Everyone, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, she's the glue that kind of keeps them together. And, but it's also, I think we have to say this too, is that that relationship that Han and Leia are in is strained. It's estranged, we find out. And they created something that is currently bad in the universe, which is Kylo Ren. And so that's one central theme in Star Wars is family. And it's a broken family. And it seems like no one wants to take ownership of it. And we have a child out there that's immature but strong in the Force. Very similar to Anakin, which we just reviewed in Revenge of the Sith. And now we have something in Kylo Ren that technically she's trying to fight against, which is, I think, also adds a very interesting thing about Star Wars, And so, it's just, I think I definitely like how it's going, and I'm interested to see how it's going to close in episode 9. Again, we're not here to bash how the Mary Poppins thing is, but I like that she has Force powers because she is a Skywalker. I just again, I don't like how it was executed, and we technically already saw that in Empire Strikes Back. We know that Luke and she communicated, even though we were like, is that just because Luke's strong in the Force, or she's just sensitive to it? But I'm okay with her showing Force powers, in The Last Jedi. So, yeah, but we got a little bit left to see. Her arc is not totally closed yet without episode 9. So we might have to revisit this in a little bit.
All right, it's certainly a great question. Because she's the glue that holds so many people and characters together. What happens when that glue is removed?
Ooh. Tune in December 20th. You'll find out. Yeah. Shall we blast through some quotes from her?
Please.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So I think we'll just start kind of not chronologically, but as the movies came out. So let's start with A New Hope. Let's do it.
Perfect.
All right, Aaron, what's up first?
The classic. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
It's a solid one, man.
It's good, man.
Heather, what else?
Yeah. So we have Governor Tarkin. I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Wow.
This was when she was kind of British for a bit.
Yeah. But
sorry, I can't do a British accent.
Can't?
Sorry, guys.
Oh. but
not a good one.
It's come out in many interviews and stuff like that, or behind the scenes stuff, that she was kind of mimicking or poking fun of Tarkin when she was saying that. But it is kind of blatant. It's kind of out of place. You think that's her accent, but then later she's just, different in a sense, so.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Todd, this one's perfect for you.
Yes, I know. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Well, yes, I am. But yeah, I think that's awesome, because it kind of speaks in multiple ways, because she's gonna be executed, and that's the first thing she says to a stormtrooper that takes off his mask, and yeah, I just love that. I love that line.
You're good.
Aaron.
All right. Then we have, will someone get this big walking carpet out of my way? Leia says this as she pushes aside Chewbacca, of course.
Of course, yeah.
She's got some sass. Better watch out.
She's got some
and Chewie's so lovable. Why is she being so mean? Like, you're picking on his dog, dude.
You'd probably be a little grumpy if you were slated for execution.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
True story. True story. All right. So to round out A New Hope, looks like we have someone has to save our skins. Into the garbage chute, flyboy.
Classic.
And lovely Leia Tahan taking the reins of the rescue.
Yeah. I think.
All right, gentlemen, here we go.
I think that was great. All right, here we go. Empire Strikes Back. One of the best quotes ever. Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. Oh, gets right to the bone.
That's the playground insult.
Yeah, and it got Chewbacca to laugh, which is even better, and
yeah. Has it been established what a nerf is and what a nerf herder would be, and why that is an insult?
Well, it's kind of like a shepherd, just like they're big, ugly, and they smell, and you're dumb as a block,
Yeah, I guess. All right. Next line. Would it help if I got out and pushed? Leia says this to Han after the Millennium Falcon stalls while trying to escape Hoth.
And he says, it might.
Yeah, their little contention on Hoth is highly entertaining.
Yes. And again, it's building that relationship, and just and Han loves the Falcon, and she already dissed it on A New Hope, like you're braver than I thought. You came in that thing, braver than I thought, and then now she's insulting his car basically, and Han doesn't take too lightly of it.
Right. No. Right. Heather, what else we got?
So Leia says to Han as she claps her hands preparing to kiss her, "Stop that. My hands are dirty."
My hands are dirty too.
Yep.
So.
The romance.
That's good. Romance.
Love is in the air.
Right, exactly. Okay. So when they're flying out of the cave, she says, I hope you know what you're doing. Actually when they fly into the cave. And so she's now it's kind of like she's showing trust for the first time in Han, even though she has she's always in charge. And now this first time she's kind of like, she's letting down the shields. It's layers, man. Yeah. Like Shrek, it's layers,
like onions.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like again, she's taking that first step. Like, I hope it's not like, oh, I know I could trust you, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Right.
Yep. And then finally for Empire Strikes Back, you have your moments. Not many of them, but you do have them. That's out of the asteroid field. So looks like her trust has paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Exactly.
Too good. All right. So we are moving on to Return of the Jedi.
Please.
So Leia to Jabba the Hutt, after she's caught freeing Han, we have powerful friends. You're going to regret this. So once again, standing up to the big bully.
Mm-hmm. Is that when Jabba has his tongue out too? I don't know.
Yeah, right before that.
I don't remember.
Is it right before then, or I don't know?
Something like he says something like, "You'll grow to appreciate me in time."
Yeah, that's
and then
right,
big
that's right.
thing slides out. He's like,
You're disgusting.
"Yep."
You're a jittery little thing, aren't you? Our poor little Ewok, Wicket.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wicket.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of like, again, this is where she's establishing more of her motherly role.
Yes. All right.
Then we have Leia speaking to Luke, talking about memories of her late mother. She's very beautiful, kind, but sad. How she know this? If her mother dies in childbirth, the world will never know.
Oh boy, here we go. Plot spackle.
Yep, plot hole.
Personally, okay, this is my take on it. Again, this is Todd's headcanon.
Right.
I think she's seeing visions in the Force.
Plausible.
I mean, that's all I got. Because again, when we know in Revenge of the Sith, which we just watched, is like she's a little baby and all she knows is I think her name is Brie Organa. I'm not sure, but that's her mom and not Padme. You know, because Luke responds with, "I never knew my mother." So Is it just because she's associating Brie with a mother, or is it actually Padme? You never know, because again, Luke technically had Aunt Beru, but maybe I don't know. You never know. You'll never know. What's next up here?
All right. Oh, I'm up.
You're up. Yeah, you're up.
Yes, you are.
I'm up. It's me. So Leia goes, I know. Somehow I've always known. After Luke reveals that they're brother-sister.
Did you always know? I think so. You're trying to make Han jealous.
Yeah, that's why I kissed you.
Oh, man. Okay.
Just gonna scuff my shoe along the ground and move on to the next quote.
All right, so here we go. Oh, it's not like that at all. He's my brother.
Oh, no. Stepped right into it again.
Yeah, we did. Perfect.
George, what have you done?
George. But Han's face in this is priceless. He's like, oh, okay. That means like we're a thing now. Like we're a thing. Yeah.
It's like I'm safe. I made it.
Yeah, I made it. Right. Exactly. All right. Let's move on to Force Awakens. Aaron, what's up?
So Leia sees Han once again after who knows how long.
Yeah.
Just looks at him and says, "Same jacket."
Classic.
Those scoundrels, they never change.
Wears the same jacket.
Yes. Oh, man. Oh. All right, guys.
All right,
Are we all sitting down? We got a tearjerker coming.
Okay.
So Leia says to Han about the loss of their son. I just never should have sent him away. That's when I lost him. That's when I lost you both.
This is kind of what I was talking about earlier too. Is like they weren't good parents. They're kind of like, oh, we'll send him to Uncle Luke's house. He'll take care of little Ben.
A little busy saving the galaxy,
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, like it's just like somebody that's in a political role or something where everyone's grabbing for your attention, and unfortunately, the last people that get your attention is your family. And it's true because Han split after that kind of happened, and so did Ben was gone basically. It's kind of like I always kind of equate it to like rich people that send kids away to boarding school, like. We'll let you take care of that. So, all right. Next up, no matter how much we thought, I've always hated.
You'll raise a Sith Lord.
Exactly. Right. All right. So, no matter how much we thought, I've always hated watching you leave, and that's when Han is ready to take off for the bigger Death Star, the Starkiller base. It's a sweet line. I really like that line.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
It is very sweet. Romance. Just in time for February 14th. All right. And her final words to Han: "If you see our son, bring him home." Oh, it's so tragic. It's getting sad. Heather, bail us out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what I can do.
Ugh.
Luke is a Jedi. You're his father. There's still light in him. I know it. Hope.
Save him.
I'm
Hashtag
just gonna
save
say
Kylo.
it. Hope.
Yes. All right, Todd. Let's cross the threshold. Go around the bend to The Last Jedi.
So there's quite a few snippy ones here in The Last Jedi. Get your head out of your cockpit, she says to Poe.
It's a good
It's
one.
a good one. She's dealt with those flyboys before, so.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. She knows.
She
You
probably
meet one
said
of them,
that.
you meet all of them.
Yeah, she probably pulled that out of her bag of tricks when she said that. She probably said that to Han like 1,000 times. So
Yeah.
For sure.
Driving Kylo to school.
Oh, too good. So, to then be followed with, there are things that you cannot solve by jumping in an X-Wing and blowing something up.
she probably also said that somewhat to Han as well.
Or Luke.
Or Luke. Yeah, that's true.
Or Luke, yeah.
That's true.
Then we have wipe that nervous expression off your face.
Poor
Who
3PO.
did she say that to? I forget. 3PO.
That was to 3PO.
That's what makes it hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's perfect
can't.
because you're like, wait a minute. Leia, let me get this straight. C-3PO doesn't change his expression, but he's got the same expression. Yeah,
But you could
it's
tell.
awesome. Yeah, you can know. You can know.
But she knows.
Yep. And Todd, what else?
Yeah, this one is super sweet and super tender, and I know what you're going to say. I changed my hair. It's so good. And it turns out this is one of the lines that she wrote because Rian Johnson and her collaborated on a lot of different things, and this is one of the lines that she wrote, and it works really well in this scene with her and Luke, and it's such a great moment, I feel, in Star Wars.
Absolutely. Well, then I think there's only one more to go,
Okay.
and it's going to sum it up all pretty well for us, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything we need.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, again, that's like her motherly role. Like, she's telling Rey,
Yep.
chill, we got everything we need,
We
and
have everything.
we're going to make this
Yep.
work. Again, that's that glue, Heather, that you said. That's a glue line. That's just like, dude, don't
Yep.
chill, man. We got this.
Totally.
All right, so that kind of wraps up our Imperial inspection of Princess Leia. Again, a very pivotal character in Star Wars lore and in pop culture, really. And I hope you enjoyed it. And Heather, shall we move on to
News of the week.
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
Now, I teased it, but I'm going to have Aaron start us off.
Okay. For this one, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do it.
Oh, we're moving, people.
Ready for this?
Yeah,
I'm so ready.
You grew. I can't even see you. You're not even on screen.
All right. I'm standing up
Okay.
because the state of Star Wars video games, it's got me so mad. It doesn't make sense. EA, you have exclusive license for 6 years. We get 2 games, neither of them very good. As for what instigated that outburst,
Oh my gosh.
very recently, Kotaku reported
Yeah.
that this much rumored about, much anticipated open world Star Wars project was canceled by EA. So it was codenamed Orca. Would have centered on exploring various open world planets while fighting for different factions in the Star Wars universe as a scoundrel or a bounty hunter. So, directly up my alley. However, the project, it seemed, was too ambitious and would have released later than EA would have wanted. So they scrapped it. And they're like, oh, we're just going to replace it with this smaller linear Star Wars for 2020 release. Ooh. But they've just announced that has been canceled as well. My notes went all over the place. I'm a bit disturbed. So there weren't many details about it, but they're like, nope, it is in the can. So here's what happened.
The bottom line is it's all messed up.
Yeah. And now I've heard that the deal that EA has with Disney is probably not as good a deal as maybe they were hoping for, because all Star Wars games have to be made through Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm are very picky and particular about the lore and being, sacrosanct with that. So it's kind of a pain to deal with if you're a game developer, which, if that's true, fine. But you're EA, you can buy the planet, that shouldn't be a concern for yours. This is a license to print money, and they're throwing it away. They've more recently, I forget who stepped into like upper management with them, but they seem to be stepping more towards independent IP rather than licensing stuff. Besides FIFA, which makes like all the money in the world every year. So I don't know. It's just super frustrating from a fan perspective, because like Star Wars is in a pretty good place right now. But as far as Star Wars video games are concerned, it's the dark times. The Empire's taken over. And we talk more about this in episode 95 with our guest, Kevin Michelson, otherwise known as Mojo57 on Twitch. But yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. And we learned today that, BioWare, who made Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, they're chomping at the bit to make Knights of the Old Republic 3. But
EA saying no.
Yeah, EA saying nope. We're not going to allow it. But hey, mobile games, open market, open season. It's sad.
It's sad.
It's so sad.
Video games have a perfect medium to tell stories, and that's what Star Wars is all about. And having somewhat of a sandbox approach to exploring like a bounty hunter or whatever. This is the whole Amy Hennig game that never came to fruition, and she wrote Uncharted, which is one of the best games ever. It's basically Indiana Jones, which is fantastic. And you could do that in Star Wars. And look at Red Dead. We kind of talked about this with Kevin on episode 95. But you got Red Dead, which is like this open world, meet a lot of different things. It's Old West. You can do the same thing in Star Wars. Like you can go and meet people. That's what it's all about, and explore and make good choices or bad choices. Hello, that's part of Star Wars. And
I know it's like peanut butter and chocolate, and EA's like hoarding all the peanut butter. Like, why?
And then you have a developer like BioWare that wants to make a game that, again, from a gaming perspective, KOTOR is like up there. It's like
it's the holy grail.
It's the holy grail. Games. And yet you don't want them to make something and make money for you. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, this could be a whole nother episode, which it was. Go check episode 95 with our good friend Kevin. But anyways, Heather, move on. We got to move on because Aaron's going to stand up again.
So guys,
I'm going to stand up again, and I'm going to start standing up, and it's going to be awful.
What's the news, Heather?
Where there's loss in video games, there is hope in shoes.
Oh!
Killing transitions tonight, guys. So,
save me, Heather.
On the 16th of January, Footwear News says parents and kids can now wear matching shoes with Mickey Mouse and Star Wars characters. It looks like the Canadian brand Beyond BIION is now featuring 2 Disney-owned franchises. So you're going to get things like Donald Duck and Minnie and Mickey, but you're also going to get some cool Star Wars things such as the TIE Fighters and Falcons. And they've got adults and kids' shoes. So they're not terribly cheap, but they're going to be worth it because you're going to be able to rock some cool Falcon shoes. Looks like both collections will be available in March. So you get some time to save up those pennies. Right. The CEO, Rick Buchanan, states they're tremendously proud of this venture with Disney and Star Wars. It was a huge undertaking for our team, but the effort and time it took to produce the innovative line was well worth it. So, I mean, really, what's there to lose?
They're making money. I tell you that, not like EA.
I need to look up these shoes. No, they're not bad.
So, those, Aaron, let me help you. Those shoes are going to be available on the website Beyond, which I'm sure I'm totally butchering, footwear.com. Right. BIION footwear.com, and select retailers within the Disney resorts.
Of course.
So when you're at Disney to do the new Galaxy's Edge, pick up a pair of TIE Fighter shoes.
Totally wearing hyperspace shoes for Galaxy's Edge.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
merging it together.
Yeah,
I'll play lots of games with these shoes.
Okay, here's the deal. I just found this out today too. Another news. I'm gonna squeeze this in. They're saying that Galaxy's Edge, like the Smuggler's Run or whatever, is going to be like 28 minutes long.
What?
Yes. So
28 minutes.
Okay, 28 minutes. Okay, so the ride itself is probably like 5 to 6, but by the time you enter the door to the time you leave, it's like a half an hour.
Wow. So
I'm never going to leave.
Like,
I'm just going to keep on going in. I'm just going to keep on going in. And
so that's like the line queue time, or I'm not sure what.
Yeah, it's not really distinct of what, but the rumor is by the time you enter the door, that it's like a 28-minute experience. Not like a queue, but like the time you enter the door and get to the ride and all that stuff. So, anyways, I digress. Let's talk about blood.
Anyway,
Let's talk about blood. Okay, so,
please, please. I need to feel something today.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, here I'm gonna get my soapbox. Okay, so we all complain about Han Solo and, you know, the mismanagement of that. But then when Ron Howard came on board, dude, that guy was tweeting, Instagramming like almost every day from set. Like, here you go. Check this out. I got a closet full of capes behind me. I got Chewie in hyperspace. And you're like, dude, and, you know, this guy's awesome. He's like tweeting like crazy. You know how many Instagram posts JJ has done for episode 9? 1.
Zippo.
1.
0.
1. He said
1.
He said 1. He filmed this. He filmed like kind of like the inverted, like sideways. You had to look kind of sideways, and you know, first day of the shot, first day on set, blah blah blah. That's it. They're already wrapping up, people. It's already wrapped up, and we.
What?
Yeah, they're already. Everyone's been posting, like the people that have been working on the film. You get one of those nice JJ postcards with this fun, like little handwritten notes, and that's all we got. They're like, oh yeah, we're wrapping up filming, and we only got one shot. So John Boyega, our good stormtrooper Finn, basically took to Instagram, and he took a shot of his hands, and there's blood on his hands.
What?
And yes, blood.
Did he pick a hangnail?
Exactly. So this is what he said, and it says, "Great working day on set. The whole team pushed themselves today to achieve something visually crazy. I've had many moments of shock on set, but not like today, and I can't wait until you know why," he wrote this last Tuesday. That's it. So the caption, you know, basically his hands look dirty, somewhat bruised, with the specks of blood running down his thumb. So it's unclear. This is what it goes on to say. It's unclear if the injuries are real or some clever movie magic makeup, you know, but there you go. So now we have 2 photos on set. 2.
2. Count them 2.
All right, Aaron. Let's wrap this up. What else we got?
I'm gonna stand up. No, I'm not gonna do that. I have one outrage per episode. Although this is equally as
I warned you,
you know?
even before you start. I warned you this is a little shady. Here you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think we put it on our socials the other week, but Vader Episode 1, Shards of the Past, is tremendous. Well done little short fan film for Star Wars. It's been making the rounds. It's been doing very, very well received, especially among hardcore Star Wars fans. Whoops, they got a copyright claim on their video. But the culprit is not who you think it is. So they got permission from Lucasfilm to make the dang thing. As long as they didn't run ads on it or I believe like privately fundraise it through like Kickstarter or whatever.
Yeah, it couldn't be crowdsourced fund basically. Yeah.
But other than that, they got the blessing of Lucasfilms. But so they didn't do the copyright claim. Turns out Disney didn't do the copyright claim, but it was it was Warner Chappell Publishing, the company that handles Walt Disney Music's publishing. I believe they're owned but not operated by Disney. It's not quite clear, but they put a copyright claim on the music. Except it was all original music. So not sure how they did that, but they put a claim on it, which basically means that the creators can't make any money off of it, which we'll get into that, but he didn't really want to anyway. And they were able to run their own ads on it, so they were able to make money off of this fan creation. So it was uploaded on the Star Wars Theory YouTube channel. They've created a ton of other great videos. And at the time that it was claimed, it had been watched nearly 7 million times. You got a copyright strike for apparently because it sounded too close to the Imperial March. But once again, this was original music inspired by John Williams' music. So that was the sad state of things. This is not a new tune when it comes to YouTube creators, but thankfully, there's a beacon of hope rising from beyond the horizon. A representative from Lucasfilm spoke to someone at either Warner Chappell or Disney and had the copyright strike lifted from the clip. So when the claim was issued, Disney monetized the video, which Lucasfilm told the creator was not allowed, and reportedly made about $80,000 from monetizing the fan-made movie on their own, which I think the budget for the short film was like $150,000, so not small change. So the ads have been taken from the video. Nobody's profiting from the project, which is the way it was supposed to be. Yeah. So all that to say, even if the Empire is hot on your trail and just crushing the life out of you, there's still a spark of hope, spark of rebellion that can save the day. So,
yeah, but it's so confusing and muddy, but it's at the same time, he's like, I don't want to make money, but really that's what it's all about. He wants to make money off this video, but he doesn't own it. It's just it's. I
trust his intentions that he doesn't want to make a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how he would be able to if he's not running ads on it, given that he's following the agreement. But given that, I mean, copyright on YouTube has been a problem for like going on 10 years. And the thing is, like, some rando music company can just make a false claim like that, and there's no recourse for the creator, and there's no penalties for false claims like that being made. So there's no incentive on the part of the claimer to do their due diligence or tell the truth when they're making a claim. So, but yeah, it's, I want to say it's a good, triumphant ending, but it's a stupid problem that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Heather, you have anything to add on this? Lawyers.
Lawyers. It's sometimes really hard to be a fan of something when the legal stuff comes into play.
Yeah, but I just don't trust this guy. I don't trust him at all. I don't trust him. Yeah, I just think he's stirring the pot and kind of getting that Last Jedi hate in there and say, look at Disney. They don't even want to support a fan-made thing. And, and again, the marketing is like, this is better than Last Jedi and blah, blah, blah. It's a good fan film, but you don't own Star Wars, okay, man? So it's one of those things. If you love this project and you love the material, go ahead. But, he's, like we talked about last week, he's trying to raise $800,000 for his part 2. And it's just like, I don't know. I think we're going to run into this more and more, and, but you're right, Heather. I mean, when lawyers get involved, it takes the fun out of it. So,
well, on that note,
let's go to some happy place.
Yeah, let's go to the fun that we've had in with Cantina Chat. Heather, lift us out of this murky pit of despair. What have you been up to lately?
Perfect. So, just sort of spreading the geekdom around. I watched a Harry Potter film recently. As I mentioned, I rewatched The Last Jedi for some kicks. But I think the funnest part that I wish I had a picture to show. So, my dad is a bowler. He's on 3 leagues, and he's crushing it.
Wow.
Is that legal?
So, because he's on 3 leagues, and this is what he does, he has all of his proper equipment. So he has his own bowling ball cleaner. So, like, they have these machines at the bowling alleys, but he has his own one. Do you know what it looks like?
Tell me.
No. A gonk droid?
It looks like the ice cream machine that went running through the halls.
Oh, no.
We need a picture of that.
So I'll get a secured picture, get it on the socials.
Please.
But let me tell you, when that's the first thing that your brain thinks when you see it,
you're like,
you have passed a new level.
That's right. Hey, Heather, I feel like this is another step in the right direction. I mean, you thought of Wilbur Hood, man, like ice cream machine.
So
that's awesome.
So not a whole lot, but enough to be like, I'm seeing regular items as Star Wars items.
You've been infected.
Yes.
It's bad, man.
See what happens when you're on this podcast? I kind of relate that to, this is a super tangent, but in gaming, like when you game a lot or whatever, and you start seeing things in real world, they're like, oh, like the glowing door, the handle. I know when I was heavy playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I would look at regular objects and be like, you know what? I can grind that. I could jump there, and I would see the lines. I would see the lines and be like, yeah, I can jump over here, jump in there. I'm like, yeah. Then I knew I was in deep. I was in real deep. See, Heather, you're over the edge now. You're in deep.
For sure. So that's what I have to share.
That was fantastic. I can't wait to see this picture.
Todd, what have you been up to lately?
Okay. This week, I let the kids watch E.T. for the first time. And they loved it. It was fantastic. And I probably haven't seen that film since it came out. Like, I haven't seen it in forever. So it was really a fun blast of the past to kind of see it. And we watched a special edition. So there's like little more tweaks and a little more updated graphics. But yeah, it was fun, and the kids really enjoyed it. And obviously, there's little, again, Spielberg, Lucas stuff. There's little Star Wars bits in there. And I just forgot how fun that film is. And so we watched it. We actually watched it twice. We watched it one night, and then they're like, "Hey, can we watch E.T. again?" I'm like, "Absolutely, let's watch it again." So that was fun. And there's just that fun bit where he's when they're trick or treating, and he walks past Yoda, and Yoda's like spot on, man. I'm just like, oh man, this is a great film. It's a great film. And then I watched Christopher Robin for the first time this week. Have you seen that film?
I have not. You're talking about the live action-ish, CGI-ish remake?
Yes, exactly. So if you're not familiar, it stars Obi-Wan Kenobi as Christopher Robin. And
as Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly. It's like Obi-Wan without a beard. But it is so good. Oh my gosh, I was crying. It was fantastic. It's a really good flick. I would highly recommend it, and it's a lot of fun. And they have the cool thing is they have like basically all the original voice actors for Winnie the Pooh, and now they're animated, computer animated, but it's a lot of fun. Great story. I would highly recommend it. So
awesome.
That's what I did this week. How about you, Aaron? Anything fun? How's school going?
Yeah, school's going well. Thank you for asking. Good. It's our first week of classes. I'm getting in the swing of things. That whole shebang.
Yes.
We had our first session for the Star Wars RPG campaign that I'm running. We got some interesting... It was basically session 0. So we were setting up character sheets for everybody and basically getting to know all the characters and what they're like, and... a little bit of backstory without spoilers. And so basically just trying everything on for size and getting ready for our first proper session this next week. And it's really great. We've got a Keldor. So if you remember the Jedi Kit Fisto, his species, we got 2 of them actually, but one of them's basically a contract killer. And the other one, he's a smuggler. We've got this wannabe crime lord who's trying to make his way in the world. We've got a Mandalorian who his home planet has fallen to the Empire, so he's seeking some kind of justice there. And we've got a like replica droid, so thinking Blade Runner, like
cool.
Passes for human, that sort of thing. And it's going to be really interesting. I'm trying to work everybody's stories into place and see how they know each other and stuff like that before our first session. But right before this podcast, I was working on making an actual like battle map to use. So, but
dude, so nerdy. I love it.
I know.
So nerdy.
I could quit whenever I want. Yeah, I found you could buy like this huge pad of like 1-inch square chart paper for like $13 on Amazon, and you just do like an overhead view of whatever rooms that you want, and just using marker and drawing it in, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah,
there you
can
go.
Stop whenever you want, Aaron.
Yeah. The miniatures have arrived, so. Not all of them yet, but
Heather's seeing props, and you're drawing like out maps, man. This is great. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It'll be a hoot. So I'll keep you updated. Heather, you want to tie this episode up in a nice, pretty little bow?
Let me do so.
All right.
Well, friends, thank you again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. Please check us out on our social media. The fun doesn't just happen in the podcast.
That is true.
It happens in the social media. So check us out, WSTR Media. And then always want to hear from you. So you can call us, leave us a voicemail message. We'll play it on a podcast, 630-557-WSTR, 630-557-9787. If talking's not your thing, you can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. And you can comment and tweet and rate us on iTunes. All of that stuff helps us get to know our fandom better and make episodes that you want to hear. So let us know. If you've enjoyed this episode and you're new and you want to check out our back catalog, visit podcast.wstrmedia.com and you get to go back through 105 episodes of crazy and you're going to love it. And then once you love us, you're going to want all the merch. And then you can go to store.wstrmedia.com and buy all the merch. So we've got tank tops if you're in a warm climate, and we got sweatshirts if you're living in Hoth. So really, we got you covered.
You have no excuse.
So look, I'm just saying.
Maybe you do have an excuse. I'm just being a provocateur.
So, check us out again. You've got all the ways to get a hold of us. And then next week, we are already at episode 107, and we are having Amy Rakow. Hopefully she'll tell us exactly how to say it.
Rishow?
I don't know. Rakow.
Help us, Amy.
What did you say, Heather? What did you say last week about your fair Chicagoan? Oh, it was about the girl from Battlefront 2. What was her name? Oh, I'm blanking. It was awesome. But yeah, we'll go Rochelle.
So we'll see. Amy will correct us next week.
That's right.
But she is connected with 365 Star Wars women. So that'll be a fun episode.
Basically, she tweeted out every day a woman of the day from Star Wars.
Right.
Who knew?
So who knew?
Amy knew.
So.
And now you know.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything. Check. Wait, we got one more checkbox.
Huh?
Are we ready?
I think we're ready.
All right.
Now
this is